Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be teaching how to cut and sew this trendy shirt crop top. If you are interested in it, kindly watch till the end. Don't forget to like, comment and share my videos. Let's get started. I'm going to start by folding my fabric into two and then marking a straight line at the edge of the fabric to get a border or guideline. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my shoulder to bust measurement, which is 9, but then I made it 10 because this is a loose top. After marking, I'll go ahead and then join the line together with a ruler. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark the length I want for the top. So you measure whatever length you want, then you mark. It depends on how tall or short you are. So whatever you have, just mark it and then add about 2 inches for folding. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect the lines together. From there, I'll be working on the shoulder. So my shoulder is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. But then since this is a loose top, I made it 8 inches because I want the shoulder to be wide. And then on the bust line, I'm going to be marking that same 8 inches and then connect the 2 points with my ruler. After connecting, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to drop the shoulder by 1 inch. And then at the center front, I'm going to be going in by 3 inches. Then I'll be coming down by 1 inch. Since this is the back, I don't want the neck to be big. So after that, I'll just go ahead and then connect it just like this to get that curve at the neckline, and then connect from that point to the shoulder slant as well. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide my bust by 4 and then add 1.5 inch to it and then add another 1 inch for sewing. So in all, I had 11.5 inches. I'll be repeating that same 11.5 inches at the hem and then on the waist or the length of the blouse. This is going to be a straight line at the edge, just like this. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide from that point, the bust point to the shoulder slant, into 2. Whatever you get, come in by 1/2 inch and then join together with your curve. This is actually for the front, but then I'm doing this so I don't forget to do it when I'm working on the front. So just place your armhole curve on it like this and then connect to the end. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out because I'm done with the front. Note, as you are cutting out, make sure you are cutting out with seam allowance all around it. After cutting out, I'm going to be using the back to cut out the front. So I'll be folding another fabric into 2 just like this, and then I'll go ahead and then mark 3 inches in. This is for the button extension. So after marking the 3 inches, I'll go ahead and then connect with my ruler and then place the back just behind that line, just like this. And then I'll go ahead and then cut out. After cutting out, I'm going to be working on the neckline of the front. So let's cut out first and then I show you what to do next. So I'll be coming down by 3 inches from that point, from the shoulder, and then I'll go ahead and connect it to that point of the neck. All I did here was to remark the 3 inches at that point and then connect it to the shoulder part of the neck. So just place your curve on it like this and then draw in your neckline. After that, I'm going to be extending it to that point as well for the bottoms. Yes, so this is it. I'm going ahead to cut out. So like I said, that curve there is for the front, so I'm going to be marking it on the front and then cut out. So just slightly pull it like this and then mark the center, and then you go ahead, mark your 1/2 inch, and then you can connect with your curve before cutting out, or you can cut it out straight away. Any way that works for you, you go ahead and then do it. Yeah, so after marking, I'll go ahead and then cut out. Note, we are not doing this for the back, it is just for the front. Then at this point, I went ahead to divide that part into 2 since the fabric is on fold. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out a violin stay or interfacing, and then the size is 1.5 inches since I'll be folding this onto the other parts like this. So this is how it's going to be. So I went ahead to cut 2 of this, and then I'll go ahead and then press it onto it. So we are doing this on both sides. Yeah, so after pressing, this is what I have. One is going to overlap on the other just like this. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join the shoulders together, and then stitch 1/2 inch at the shoulder line. After stitching, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on that front part. I'm going to stitch it down. So after stitching, this is what I have, and I went ahead to stitch that center front about 1/4, just to give me a design line. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark in my seam allowance for the side and stitch. So I realized the top was very big, so instead of 1 inch, I stitched 1.5 inches because it was very loose on me. But if you want it to be big, you can go ahead and then use it. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to measure the armhole. Whatever I get, I'm going to be using that to cut out the sleeves. So this is my border line. From that point, I'm going to be marking the length of my sleeve plus 2 inches for folding. So the length is 10, and then plus 2 inches for folding, which is 12 inches. After marking, next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect it with my ruler. Yes, so this is what I have at the moment. So I'll be marking 4 inches down from that upper line. Then I'll be connecting with my ruler as well. After connecting, I'm going to be putting in my armhole measurement, which is 9.5 inches. And then from that corner, I'm going to make a curve to that point. After that, mark your around arm measurement. Whatever you get, you add about 2 inches or 1.5 inches to it to make the sleeve loose. So after that, I'll go ahead and then connect the points together just like this. The next thing I'll be doing is to add seam allowance of 1 inch all round to the end. So this is the sleeve, it is done, and then I'm going ahead to cut out. After cutting out, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to fold the seam allowance in. So that 2 inches I added, I'm going to fold it in and then stitch. After stitching, this is what I have. I went ahead to stitch about quarter at the bottom as well to give me a style line. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to join the side. I added half-inch seam allowance, so I'm going to be stitching on that half-inch seam allowance. And then the next thing I'm doing is to notch the center of the sleeve, and then I'm going to be joining it to the center of the shoulder. So the seam at the shoulder is going to be joined to the center part of the sleeve. Make sure you are joining the sleeve to the seam, the center part of the sleeve to the seam line of the shoulder. So I'm going to be pinning it down before I stitch. After pinning it down, I went ahead to stitch, and then I'm done with the sleeve. And then the next thing I'm going to be doing is to fold the hem in. So whatever seam allowance you added to the hem, you go ahead and then stitch it down. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to measure the neckline. I'm going to be making the collar at this point. So measure the neckline, whatever you get, that is what you are going to be using to cut the collar. I had 20¼ inches after measuring, which is very big. I know I wanted the neck to be that big, so that is why. I'm going to be cutting the collar on this violin stay or interfacing. So what I'm going to be doing is to divide the measurement for the neck into 2 and then mark it down. So I'm going to be marking it down just like this and then connect with my ruler. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark 1¼ inch. You can actually make it 1 inch if you don't want the stand to be big. So this is 1¼ after marking. I'm going to connect with my ruler just like this, and then at that point I'm going to be going in by ½ inch. Then I'll be coming down by ½ inch as well. After that, I'm going to make a curve from that point to that point. Next, I'll be marking 2 inches up from that point. Then I'll connect with my ruler. After that, I'm going to extend that part out by ½ inch. Yeah, then I'm going to connect with my ruler as well. So at this point, I'm done with the collar. Now go ahead and then cut out before cutting it on the main fabric. So I'm going to be attaching this to the fabric just like this before cutting out. Yeah, so after pressing, I'm going to pin it down before cutting. I don't want it to be moving since I have 2 fabrics under. So make sure you're cutting out with seam allowance of ½ inch all around it. I'll be doing the same thing for the upper part of the collar as well. So this is what I have at the moment. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to stitch this part of the collar. I'm going to stitch from that part through to this part. After stitching, this is what I have. I'm going to notch or cut out excess fabric from the corners and then turn it out. After turning it out, make sure you press it before moving to the next step. So I've marked the center of this. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to attach this to the other one. So just fold this into two as well and then mark the center. After marking the center, I'm going to be placing this in. So the collar is going to be at the center, just like this. Then you make sure right side is facing each other, and wherever there is an interfacing, make sure the interfacing is meeting the other interfacing, stiff or violin. So after that, I'll go ahead and then stitch that point. The next thing I'll be doing is to press it down. So when stitching, make sure you fold 1/2 inch in on one side of the collar stand, just like this. Make sure you fold one side in, just like this, just one side before you stitch. So you are folding in about 1/2 inch. So at this point, I'm going to press that part in so that it will lie down flat. So like I said, you are folding 1/2 inch in before you stitch. This will help you fix the collar to the shirt easily. So I'm going to press it down at this point, just one side. Yes, so after pressing, this is what I have. So I'm going to be looking for the center of this. Then I'm going to make a notch over there. I'm going to be making a notch at the center of the shirt as well, the neckline of the shirt. Then I'll be matching or placing the notches together. Note you are pinning it down just like this. Make sure you are not pinning the folded parts with the neck, but then the parts or the side which is not folded in, that is where you are attaching to the neck. So I'll go ahead and then stitch that part. After stitching, all you have to do is to push this in like this. Yes, you can either press it down or pin it down before stitching. Whatever works for you, you go ahead and do it, but then I always make sure I press it down, pin before I stitch. So after pinning, the next thing you're going to do is to just stitch on top of it to the end. After stitching, this is the outcome. You can see the collar looks nice and then neat. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to attach or add a pocket to the top. So the length of the pocket is actually 9 inches, and then the width is about 8.75 inches. So I folded 1/2 inch in before I folded 1 inch in, and then at the side and then the bottom I folded 1 inch in on every part. On every side. So after folding or pressing it down, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to stitch that part. The part with the folded 1/2 inch in before 1 inch, I'm going to stitch it down. After that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark 6.5 inches down from the shoulder. Then at the center front, I'm going to be marking 1 inch in from that point. Then I'm going to place the pocket on top of it, or behind that 1 inch, and then below the 6 inches. Yes, so just like this. I'm going to pin it down. Note, I'm going to repeat the same process at the other side. After fixing the pocket, that will be all for the top. All you have to do is to make your buttonholes and then fix your buttons, and then that is all. Thanks for watching. See you another time. Bye.